All right, everybody, it is day 23 of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. And for the second day in a row, we're talking mentorship. But today, we're going to dig into how you manage a mentoring relationship. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's day 23 of the 28-day Get Hired Challenge. I'm Melissa Miller, and we are talking mentorship again today. We're talking now about managing a relationship with your mentor. Managing a relationship, imagine that. There's actually some effort that you have to put into this. Yes, of course there is. And let's start with right off the bat. We talked yesterday about what you can expect from your mentor, but your mentor also is going to have certain expectations of you. And this will depend, and we're going to talk about different formats of mentor relationships in a moment. So some of this will depend a little bit on that format, but these are kind of the key characteristics, things that you need to bring to the table as a mentee. It all starts with having a plan. Your mentor is going to expect you to have some concept of where you want to go with your career. Now, that's not to say you got to have everything all laid out, all right? That's part of why you have a mentor. They're there to help you and to guide you through that. But you've got to have some idea. We spent a whole bunch of time 2 weeks ago talking about getting to know yourself. Those exercises, figuring out your personal brand, figuring out your areas of interest, what portions of cybersecurity, what disciplines you wanted to focus on, all of that is all stuff that you can bring to that mentoring relationship. You can share that with your mentor, talk through it, help them understand where you're coming from. And they're going to look for that from you. And to that end, the second thing they're going to look for you to do is ask specific questions. Way back in the first week of this video series, I mentioned the number of times I've had people come to me asking for help getting into cybersecurity, and I ask them, what interests you or what kind of job, and they're just like, I want to learn it all. Well, that's not specific, and that's impossible. No one's going to learn it all. So coming with really specific questions, either about things that you're going through in the moment, plans that you're making for the future, things you want to understand, maybe questions about some skills that you want to try to develop. Come with actual questions that they can help guide you with. The more broad you are, the more difficult it's going to be for them to help you. They're also going to look for you to be enthusiastic. Now, that doesn't mean every time you're talking with them, you got to be bouncing off the walls, excited and passionate, like, always happy-go-lucky. No, that's not what enthusiasm means. But what enthusiasm means is you have to be in it to win it, okay? You've got to be there trying to make this happen. If you think that you're going to kind of just coast and your mentor is going to kind of make it all work for you, that's not how this goes. That is not what a mentor is there to do. They're going to expect you to have the energy and the push and the motivation. Yes, they will help motivate you, as we talked about yesterday, but you have to be an active part of that too. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, remember, mentors should be doing this for free, okay? In fact, if you're looking at paying for a mentor, stop right now. Never, ever, ever should anyone ever have to pay money for a mentor. But in that sense, you saw why yesterday mentors get into this to give back, to help the community, to help a colleague just in the spur of the moment. They're there to help you, but that means you have to be respectful of their time. So if you schedule a meeting or a get together with your mentor and you don't show up, you don't let them know, that's pretty awful. You don't expect that mentor to stick around and help you for very long. It seems like this should be basic, but indeed it happens a lot. But also understand that they have day jobs, just like you. They're doing something, they're working, and so understand they may not always be able to respond right away. If you have their phone number, be careful about when you call. Find out from them what are good times to call and what are times to maybe avoid. Do they have a family? Don't interrupt their family time. So being respectful of their time, that's a really important concept because a lot of mentors, that is a complaint that I hear, is their mentees just aren't respectful of their time. They don't show up or they don't do, whatever. So those are the expectations your mentor is going to have of you. Now let's talk a bit about different forms of mentor relationship. I'm going to give you 3, but it can be any mix of these, and these aren't hard and fast rules, but this is just to give you some idea of what goes on in mentorship. So the 3 that I'm going to talk about are ad hoc, casual, and formal mentor relationships. So when we think about ad hoc, we're talking about things that they're usually, you're going to have your conversations via email, call, or text. There's not going to be really a defined schedule. It's usually just, hey, I've got a quick question. Can I ask you something? And so you're usually mostly focused on advice in this case. It's somebody who can be there when you encounter a situation and you just need to bounce it off of somebody. That's kind of that ad hoc. And it's ad hoc because, you're not really planning any specific meetings or doing anything like that. Casual mentorship is kind of the next step up. It starts to become a little more structured. Maybe you get together, you meet for coffee or meals or whatnot. You might schedule regular Zoom, or a Zoom call here and there, but the schedule might be more irregular. The big thing here is around the conversation. The conversation should be more freeform. Somebody who you can talk to and just share with them what's going on. They can, share with you what's going on in their world. You can talk about things related to cybersecurity, everything else. It doesn't have to be, really super structured. And usually in this case, you're focused on motivation and support. And again, some of that advice as well. You're trying to really have them bring, just an overall conversation that helps build and guide you, but more to keep you going, more to keep you focused, more to help you push through, troubles that you're running into in the moment. And then finally, there's very formal mentorship. And for, each of these, choose which format or shape your mentorship to look the way you need it to be, what works best for you. But in a formal mentoring relationship, here's where we're talking about getting together in maybe a more professional, quiet space. Maybe you're meeting in an office or something like that. You're going to have a really structured, regular cadence. So maybe you meet monthly on a regular schedule. You might even have documented agendas. You might get homework to do between different mentoring sessions. You may come back, armed with new information, or maybe you did some exercise or something that, built up some, or maybe your mentor challenges you to complete a certain level of training or something in the time between your meetings, whatever it is. And because of that structure, these are where we're really oftentimes focused on like career planning and building your expertise. Now, again, these are not hard and fast rules. These are just general concepts. Your mentoring relationships can ebb and flow between these. You might start off formal and then it becomes more casual and that works better. It might go the other way around. You might decide formal just doesn't work for you. You might decide that ad hoc thing isn't really of value to you. I can tell you from my perspective, somewhere between casual and ad hoc is how the vast majority of my mentorship relationships have formed. But it needs to be about what works best for you. So, What are people doing in relation to this? I asked another survey question. I asked people, what do your mentorship relationships look like? So I asked people who had mentors or who were mentors. And what the numbers tell us looks pretty much like what I was just saying to you. You see, the vast majority casual. So it's a little structured, they're getting together and they're talking about things and they're getting that support. And then the next biggest is ad hoc. So you can kind of see how, like I was saying, what worked best for me was somewhere in the middle of those two. Well, you can kind of see that playing out here. And you see formal mentor relationships is actually just a small portion, only about 20%. And that's important because there's a lot of ways to engage in mentoring relationships. There are people out there who help connect you with mentors. I've had people reach out to me and say, will you be a mentor? And usually when people are asking like that, or they're going to say a mentor, matching service, that's usually something that falls into more of that formal mentorship category. Not always, but a lot of times. Casual and ad hoc, those are the ones that form, like I said yesterday, a little more organically, where maybe it's just a colleague you've worked with, it's somebody you met at a conference or at some event or whatever, and just, over time you find that you really mesh. There's someone that you can trust, and, they have good perspectives on things that are valuable to you. You find them easy to talk to, whatever. That's where I think you find a lot of value. Formal mentor relationships are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting them down. But understand they can be a little more challenging to form because if it's not somebody you already know, how do you even know that you're going to mesh well? How do you know that your communication style and theirs is going to work? And so just keep that in mind as you see different people, services, whatever, offering to match you with mentors, or you want to reach out to somebody to be your mentor. Keep in mind that that's not only kind of a heavy lift for you, but that's also a heavy lift for the mentor. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is ending a mentor relationship. Now, if it's an ad hoc mentor relationship, it's really pretty simple. If it's more of, a formal one, well, then you probably have to be pretty structured in how you end that relationship and be clear about it. Don't just ghost somebody. Again, back to being respectful of their time. Even if they were an awful, awful mentor for you, be respectful. Understand they still gave up their time for you and end it respectfully. But the important thing is here, however you do it, is that you understand you should be monitoring your mentor relationship. And if you're not getting value out of it, if it's becoming more onerous than it is helpful, that's probably time to just go your separate ways. If it's casual, maybe you just stop planning times to meet up. If it's ad hoc, you just stop reaching out and asking questions. But if it's formal, you probably, if you have a structured cadence, it would be good to be very clear that, hey, you know what? I want to stop meeting. This just isn't working anymore for me. That's valid and it's okay. Be sure to do that for your own mental health. So I want to hear from you in the comments. What structure of mentorship works best for you? I'll randomly pick one of those comments and give you a free book. And I'm also going to remind you that Manning's giving you 35% off all of their books, all their titles on Manning.com. All this month, just enter that discount code or visit that short link or use that QR code to take you there. Any of those will work, but be sure to keep coming back. We've got just a few days left. The month is almost over. But we still have great information because we're building now. We're making sure that you're going to be successful in the long run because I'm here to help get you hired and be successful in cybersecurity. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow.